After days of speculation, shock, and legal buzz, the powerful lawyer who suddenly walked away from the Nick Reiner murder case is finally speaking. Alan Jackson, one of America's most high-profile criminal defense attorneys, has finally broken his silence. Not to explain what happened, not to clarify the mystery, but to tell the public exactly what he cannot say. And what he did say only deepened the questions. Attorney Alan Jackson addressed his abrupt exit from the Nick Reiner case during a January 13th appearance on SiriusXM's Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa, his first public comments since stunning the courtroom by quitting the case. His single sentence and emphasis on ethical obligations instantly reignited buzz across legal circles and Hollywood alike, because lawyers don't say that lightly. In criminal law, ethical withdrawal typically involves strict legal standards, conflicts, breakdowns, or circumstances that prevent effective representation. But attorneys are prohibited from explaining those details publicly. That silence isn't evasive, it's the rule. Jackson says he stepped away because he had no choice. He says he followed the rules. He says he acted in his client's best interest. And he says that's all he can say. Jackson wasn't just any attorney on this case. He was hired to defend Nick Reiner, the 32-year-old charged with murdering his parents, legendary filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle Singer Reiner. A brutal double homicide, a high-profile family, and enormous legal stakes. Jackson's involvement signaled a top-tier aggressive defense. So when he suddenly stepped away, without explanation, the world noticed. The shock came in open court. On January 7th, standing before Judge Teresa McGonigal, Jackson made a brief but stunning announcement.
Your Honor, at this time, I, on behalf of Workman Jackson and Quinn, and with Mr. Reiner's understanding and consent, would ask to withdraw as counsel of record based on the conversation that we've had in chambers and the explanation that we've provided to the court in chambers. We feel that we have no choice at this juncture but to withdraw as counsel and ask to be relieved.
No elaboration, no argument, just a clean exit. Within moments, the public defender's office was assigned to take over the case, and the questions exploded. Jackson addressed that speculation directly later the same day during an appearance on Billy Bush's Hot Mics podcast. When Bush suggested money or retainers might be involved, Jackson shut it down immediately. While Jackson refused to explain why he left, he repeatedly stressed one point. He emphasized that the decision was made to ensure Nick Reiner receives the most robust defense possible, even if that defense no longer includes him. He also expressed confidence in the public defender's office now handling the case.
This morning, I had to withdraw as Nick Reiner's counsel. Circumstances beyond our control, but more importantly, circumstances beyond Nick's control, have dictated that, sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation of Nick. And you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that. Print that.
Nick Reiner remains behind bars as he faces 2 counts of first-degree murder. If convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in prison or face the death penalty. With a new defense team now in place, every move from here forward becomes critical.
Filing charges against Nick Reiner, who is accused of killing his parents, actor-director Rob Reiner, and photographer-producer Michelle Singer Reiner. These charges will be 2 counts of first-degree murder with the special circumstance of multiple murders. He also faces a special allegation that he personally used a dangerous and deadly weapon, that being a knife. These charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. No decision at this point has been made with respect to the death penalty. We have requested, and currently Nick Reiner is being held without bail. Once the charges get filed this afternoon, Nick Reiner will be then brought to court. He is going through medical clearance, something that everybody who gets arrested and gets held in a Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department jail goes through. Once he is medically cleared, he will be brought to court to be arraigned on these charges. At that point, he will enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. So special circumstances is a situation where one of the enumerated factors that lead to elevating in some ways a first-degree murder case to a special circumstance first-degree murder case occurs. One of those special circumstances is called multiple murders. Here we have two, and it qualifies under the definition of multiple murders to allege the special circumstance in this particular case.
December 14th, 2025, LAPD officers from our West Los Angeles division responded to a death investigation at the 200 block of South Chadbourne Avenue, which is in the Brentwood section of Los Angeles. Upon entering the residence, they discovered the bodies of Mr. and Mrs. Reiner. Detectives from our Robbery Homicide Division Homicide Special Section immediately initiated a comprehensive investigation. The evidence gathered led to the arrest of their son, Nick Reiner, who was taken into custody later that night without incident in the Exposition Park section of our city. Today, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office has formally filed charges against Mr. Reiner for the murder of his parents. This case is heartbreaking and deeply personal, not only for the Reiner family and their loved ones, but for our entire city. We extend our deepest condolences to all of those who were affected by this tragedy.
Okay, so in terms of how the Los Angeles Police Department became aware, it was a request from the Los Angeles Fire Department, who responded to the scene first. We responded to their request for assistance at the scene of the incident. Our initial West LA officers that responded determined that a crime had occurred, and they immediately notified our Robbery Homicide Division. They've responded, and they have taken over the investigation since that point. He was arrested in a public area, in the Exposition Park area near the University of Southern California campus. He was approached by the officers, and he was arrested without incident. There were no indications that he was going to resist or anything like that. He didn't flee or anything like that. He was taken into custody without issue, and he was transported to our police headquarters facility.